Welcome to Firehouse Chefs. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I will take you on a journey with America's chefs, firefighters, service industry professionals, and more as we discuss food, recipes, nutrition, and lifestyle topics. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride. Hello and welcome to Firehouse Chefs Radio. This is FHC Radio, where you can listen to us every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Rant Radio Network. This is episode 11. Can you believe it, Chef Don?
No, it's gone by quick.
Thank you. Thank you, boys. I am your host, Eddie Sell, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chef Don Heiser, who is normally with me in the co-pilot seat, other than the times that he has to actually go out there and be a fire chief. So we are really, really happy to have Chef Don in studio with us tonight. Thanks again for being here, Chef.
Yeah, unlike somebody who gets to hang out in a fire station and sleep and eat and...
not where I work. Maybe down there where you work.
Yeah,
but yeah,
here it goes. We're going to hear it. Okay, that's right. Two's is busy, isn't it?
It's very busy. But yeah, I'm very happy to be there. And actually, want to say a quick little hi to my crew. I actually had the opportunity to hang out with them today. We went to the LA Dodger game. So for all you hater Dodger fans, the Dodgers won again, and they happen to be on a roll. So go Dodgers, right, boys, in the booth? I know that these guys are happy about that, too. So the Dodgers continue to be on a winning streak, and I know you are probably a Padre fan, which I'm really sorry about.
Yeah, no, our producer and director in the booth there are giving me the high sign for the Padres.
Exactly. Well,
yeah, it's not thumbs up, gentlemen.
Again, you're listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network. Our telephone number is 855-969-7268, 855-969-RANT. And again, we discuss all things in the culinary world, fire service, service industry professionals, everything else that we cover here, the lifestyle topics that we discuss, nutritionists. We've already had some really, really fantastic guests, and that continues every week. So it's been great. And tonight's going to be no different. We have a great topic tonight. And for all you food fans out there, what goes with food? Nothing better than like a glass of wine, right? So or two or three or a bottle. So it just depends on the evening. But we're going to be joined in studio by a master wine aficionado. And I already told Carl that I told him that his name or title was going to change probably like each and every time I mention it. So he is a master candidate of wine. Carl Mustert is going to be joining us in studio all the way from South Africa via Carlsbad, California. So Carl's going to be joining us in the next segment, and it's going to be great today. The topic, again, is going to be all things wine. And just obviously we're going to be covering food and wine pairing together, the different regions of the world that produce great wines, how things have evolved with wine, just in terms of the culinary world. I know, Chef Don, when you do a lot of your private events and when we do different Firehouse Chef catering events, pairing food with either wine or other alcoholic beverages is a big part of like the culinary scene these days.
It's an extremely big part. One of the things that we've learned when we were in school, and then getting out of school, and then me spending time with Carl, is when the guests come in, what do we greet them with? A nice glass of wine that sets the tone for the evening, and then we're off to good food and additional wine and wine pairings.
Exactly. So if you have any questions out there for our wine aficionado, you can call us at 855-969-7268. I know that we're probably going to have a couple of guest chefs that are going to give us a call as well and join the conversation tonight, and that'll be a lot of fun, and we're going to be able to pick Carl's brain. So I'm excited. I love wine. I love wine tasting, and it's just one of those things that I think is very fun, relaxing, and rewarding as well. So we're very, very excited about that. And how did you actually meet Carl, Chef, if you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, real quick. There was a young lady who was in my Rotary Club, and she was studying to become a sommelier. She was getting ready to do her level 1 test. I was helping her with that, and I know, unbeknownst to me, Carl was. And when she got ready to take her level 2 test, we formed a wine tasting group.
Okay.
And that's where I ended up meeting Carl, There was a group of us that came together to help this young lady. So I found out that Carl had been studying wine for about 25 years, and that we had some common interests. And the young lady went on to pass her test with flying colors, and in the tradition of wine drinkers, we continue to meet and drink wine. But that's how I met him, through helping somebody that we knew in common.
Okay, perfect. And if you're watching the screen right now, and obviously if you watch us every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Rant Radio Network, you can also catch us at firehousechefs.com, where you can see the live feed, and then you can always go to YouTube, search Firehouse Chefs Radio, Rant Radio Network for the archived episodes, but you'll be able to see the different pictures that we have throughout the show. And again, food and wine is going to be the topic, so it's going to be really, really exciting.
And also, Chef, just before we move on, for all the folks out there, whether you're a firefighter or a civilian listening to the show tonight, don't forget Firehouse Chefs, our food truck. We produce some awesome food, and Chef Eddie also leads the team, can do catering for you, whether it's a wedding or all the way down to just a simple birthday party or a couple of sweethearts wanting to get together and enjoy an evening. Get a hold of Firehouse Chefs. Chef Eddie will put it together for you.
Thank you very much, and that's very true. We actually have some great events coming up in, finishing out the rest of 2013, including, I know, September 7th, we have something in Southern California for 250 people, and that's actually going to be like a Western-style dinner that we're going to do. So if you are in Southern California, remember that we do offer a very diverse menu. We're able to, cater all events, weddings, birthday parties, you name it, probationary parties, everything. We've also catered to the fire service specifically, which has been great. So go to firehousechefs.com. You can access our information there, or also you can email us directly at firehousechefs@yahoo.com. Firehousechefs, plural, @yahoo.com.
And Chef, we do travel. We go from San Diego to Ventura, and from the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, all the way out to, we'd be more than happy to cater something on the beach.
Exactly. So we do go everywhere. And since we're talking about our food truck is tonight in West LA at a concert. So we do want to say hi to our employees working on the Firehouse Chefs food truck. We appreciate everything that you guys do. And again, like we mentioned in last week's episode, the Firehouse Chefs food truck can actually be seen in the movie Clear History that's on HBO right now with Larry David, Eva Mendes, and Kate Hudson. So you can kind of catch a glimpse. And I actually saw the movie finally. It's pretty damn funny. But I'm a Larry David fan, so I get his humor. It's pretty funny. And that's a lot of fun. And then just real quick, remember, did you guys see it? The movie. Never mind.
Did we see what movie? I'm sorry.
Clear History.
You don't want to know what's going on in this room back here.
That's our director producer back there that you just heard.
Yeah. Anyhow, and then just remember also you can follow us on all of the Firehouse Chefs social media, Facebook under Firehouse Chefs, also FHC Food Truck, under Twitter at Firehouse Chefs, also at FHC Food Truck. Follow us on Instagram under Firehouse Chefs, and then obviously firehousechefs.com is another great way to get all the information that you need about what we are up to. Again, there's a lot of cool things coming up that we're going to be continuing to bring up. Actually, it sounds like we're going to be expanding our radio network soon, so we're really, really fortunate about that opportunity, and we'll be telling you guys where you can listen to us in other parts of the country as they continue to pick up our show. And then also some of our other television projects and other media projects as they continue to grow and develop. So it's a great time.
Hey, Chef, right now, I know we get really busy at the end of the show. Who do we got coming up on some future? I think we got some outstanding, not that our wine connoisseur sitting here isn't a top draw, but what do we got coming?
So I think just looking at my calendar, and this is all, as far as what the tentative schedule is, but September 4th, I'm going to be joined in studio by Jeff Harden, who is a captain here in Southern California, and he's been with me from the beginning as one of the first original Firehouse Chefs. And Jeff actually he drew the Firehouse Chefs logo, and he also created the logo for our 4Bell Fitness that we're going to be launching very, very soon. So he's going to be co-hosting with me since you're going to be gone.
I'm gone. So you got a new co-pilot.
Yeah, this guy on screen right now, Michael Rivera, he's going to be here September 25th. Again, he was a prior guest. He's going to be here with his girlfriend, Jessie Jane. And they're going to be talking about just different projects that they're working on together. Also, September 11th, we're going to be joined by a sushi chef from a company called Naked Sushi. And that's going to be, we love sushi, obviously, right? So they're going to be talking about all things sushi. This guy is actually very, very popular, and he gets flown to different cities for his services. So it's actually a pretty, unique thing that he offers in the food world. September 18th, we're going to be joined by Jess Hartnett, and he is the San Diego County fire captain that also owns the company Firehouse Boards that provides the fantastic cutting boards and custom stuff for chefs out there.
Makes beautiful boards. His woodwork is just phenomenal.
And that just names a few. Also, we're going to have Kim Blaylock, the owner and co-founder of Venom Vodka. And he'll be in here kind of doing what we're doing tonight, where we're going to be talking about pairing vodka with food, and that happens to be my favorite alcohol, so I can't wait.
That kind of
sounds like we actually have we have a caller on line one, but we are coming up on a commercial break. So caller on line one, please hang on, and we will get to you after the commercial break. You're listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network. Again, our phone number is 855-969-7268. 855-969-RANT. And when we come back from the commercial break, we are going to be joined by Carl, our wine aficionado. And again, give us a call with your questions, comments, or input. And if we like it, we'll keep you on. If we don't, what are we going to do? Let's give him a sound effect. Do you have that thing down yet, Chef?
No, not yet. Oh, here's one.
Come on. Alrighty. All right, stay tuned for more Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network. We'll be back shortly with our in-studio guest.
Stay tuned.
Don't burn anything down. Firehouse Chefs will be right back.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmart, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
Do we have your attention? When it comes to tequila, two things matter: heart and passion. Never compromising integrity for mass production. Number one Tequila delivers the goods. Taste the heart and passion of Mexico in every bottle. We make it right. We make it fun. Superior Tequila. There's only number one. There's only number one. There's only number one.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home. At AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-882-1976. Or you can log on to www.agrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español.
Building a custom home or business is a huge deal. For some, it's the largest project they'll take on in a lifetime. Choosing your team may be the most important part of ensuring a successful building project. Starting a project by working closely with Core Design will create what's just right for your lifestyle and your property. But selecting the right builder is perhaps the most important part of creating the team. At Core Designs, customer service, quality craftsmanship, and integrity are the keys to our company philosophy. Your custom construction dreams are just a phone call away. Core Design at 213-453-1609. Once again, that number is 213-453-1609.
Welcome to Firehouse Chefs. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I will take you on a journey with America's chefs, firefighters, service industry professionals, and more as we discuss food, recipes, nutrition, and lifestyle topics. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride.
Are you done getting dressed, Chef?
I'm never done getting dressed.
Welcome back to Firehouse Chefs Radio. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I am joined by my co-host, Chef Don Heiser. And you are listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio, episode 11. Tonight's topic is wine, all things wine, food and wine. And we actually have a couple of lines lit already. Again, our phone number is 855-969-7268. And we're going to get to our guest here shortly, but let's go ahead and pick up line 1.
That's Angel.
Alrighty. Let's see if I can figure this out.
I think just pick up one and you should be good, Chef.
Or not. Caller on line 1, are you there? You're on Firehouse Chefs Radio.
I am.
Is this Angel?
It is.
Hi, Angel. Are you on a fire, or are you where are you at tonight?
I am lucky enough to be actually at my station.
You're at your station. So for those of you listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio, Angel actually is a Firehouse Chefs contributor, and she's a captain down in San Diego County. So we're happy to have her on board. And we're going to have to post that picture of you bailing out of your derby car, because she races in the derby race or whatever. And this year, literally her car caught on fire and she had to bail out of it. So, but since we've all been in the fire service for a long time, even though I look incredibly, young and, fabulous,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
I think that's why you're calling tonight, though, because you actually have a coworker that used to work with me a long time ago, right? That has an event coming up. Is he with you tonight, or did you guys just speak?
He is not. I asked to him, and he is unable to call in tonight, but he said he was going to try to call you guys next week.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Do you happen to know any information about what the...
I do.
Okay.
I do. I have some basics. Actually, my personal engineer here at the station, his daughter was just diagnosed with leukemia.
Okay.
And my cohort, the other captain, owns a brewery here in town, and so we're going to actually do a fundraiser in September, late September, early October, to help out the family.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Right, so we're going to need a food truck in case you know of anybody.
I think I do know somebody that has an outstanding food truck. So, yeah, we'll definitely make the trek down to San Diego for that. And speaking of which, we're actually doing another event for leukemia research in Long Beach, and that's going to be in September. So, again, if you just follow any of the Firehouse Chefs social media sites, you can always find out what we're up to and what the food truck is doing. So definitely tell him that we'll plan the day, and we will be down there for that.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, once we have all the dates established and all the details, I will definitely let you know.
And I know you were just how long were you on duty on the fires, Angel?
I have only had normally, on average, 1 day off since probably June, a week.
So she's had 1 day off on average since June. That's crazy. And when I used to work for that particular department, yeah, I mean, my longest stretch was 30 days. So it's a long...
Yeah, that's been my longest to date,
yeah.
30 days.
It's a long time, and we really appreciate your sacrifice and your service. And I was going to mention that actually in our first segment, Chef. There's still numerous fires burning throughout California and the Southwest. Obviously, the biggest one, and the attention grabber is in Yosemite. That's burned over 150,000 acres. I think they said that it's bigger, size-wise, bigger than the city of Chicago. And
correct.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. So obviously, all of us that have been in the business for quite a while, the fire behavior that we continue to see is very, very threatening, and it's dangerous out there. So just please be careful, and we appreciate everything that you do.
Why, thank you very much. We love our job, so we're happy to do it.
Okay, Angel, we're going to go ahead and let you go because we do have a caller on line 2, and I do want to introduce our guest. So I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Angel,
Take care.
Be careful.
Be safe.
Bye, Chief.
Bye-bye.
She even calls you Chief.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So without any further ado, let's get to our in-studio guest before we pick up our next caller. And Carl, our wine aficionado, welcome to Firehouse Chefs Radio.
Thank you very much, Eddie and Don. Very kind of you to host me tonight. So great. Nice to be here.
No, it again, wine happens to be something that I'm very passionate about, and I think that it's a lot of fun to discuss it and learn about it, and it's just so interesting because it's one of the oldest drinks in the world, So I'm very, very interested in it. So let's see if line 2 is still lit. It is.
It is.
So if you don't mind, Carl, we're going to go ahead and pick up line 2, and we're going to see how this correlates with tonight's topic.
I think now it's on 1.
We got another caller now. Can I pick up line 1? All right.
Good. You hear me?
I hear you. Firehouse Chefs Radio. Who do we have? Hello, you're on Firehouse Chefs Radio. Yep.
Michael Poole.
Michael Poole? You are
Yeah.
on the air with your host, Eddie Sell and Chef Don.
Oh, I am? Okay.
Yeah, you're live right now.
You're live, Michael.
All right, how you doing, Eddie?
Good. How are you, brother?
Good. I just got disconnected, so.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't sure what
That was
there.
probably Arvin in the booth because he was
okay.
upset that he had to get me iced coffee.
Hey, just because I'm in here doesn't mean you can bash on me.
I hear you.
Sorry, man. Anyways, well, Chef Michael, thank you very much for calling this show. We actually have Carl, who is a master wine sommelier or aficionado. There's a couple different terms, but I was telling him actually that you're one of our biggest contributors, and that you recently went to France because you went to culinary school out there, and that you make chocolates. So we actually wanted to get you involved with the conversation. So we can all actually go ahead and say hi to one another. Carl.
Hey, Michael, how are you doing?
Good, Carl. How you doing?
No, very good, thank you.
All right, it's a pleasure.
So Carl's actually originally from South Africa,
Yep.
and he was going to start getting into his background as far as everything, if you don't mind.
Sure, not at all. So, I've been in the U.S. now 13 years. Loved it down here. I live in San Diego, or in Carlsbad, if you like. Pretty much, they named the city after me, so it's Carl from Carlsbad.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, Don. Appreciate that. My background is I actually grew up in the winelands of just outside of Cape Town, a little town called Somerset West. It's kind of tucked right next to Stellenbosch, which is what I think is the most beautiful wine country in the world. Very, very pretty. Michael, if you get a chance to go down there and do some touring, it's a beautiful place to visit. Great wines to taste.
I would like to do that.
Yeah. And I finished up school there. We had conscription in those days in South Africa, and I did 2 years of my military service as a paratrooper, and then moved on to university. And I actually moved into the whole scientific world. So I had great aspirations of becoming the game ranger that saved all the wild animals in Africa. But I ended up becoming an electrical engineer, specializing in software, and I've been in the tech business all my life. But having grown up in the winelands, my dad was a grower and grew Pinotage, which is a unique South African variety. And you get Pinotage wine, and he grew grapes for that under contract for KWV in South Africa.
Well, what would that be similar to here, from a California varietal, or something that that people are familiar with,
it's a pretty unique
Pinot Noir or Cabernet or
it's a pretty unique variety. It's actually a crossing that was done in the 1920s by a professor at Stellenbosch University, and a crossing between Pinot Noir and Cinsault.
Wow.
So in those days, Cinsault was actually called Hermitage in South Africa. Most people thought that it came from Hermitage in the Rhone Valley, but it was actually Cinsault. So you ended up with this unique varietal, and it's grown in South Africa. it's exported. The plants have been exported into New Zealand. So, to my knowledge, New Zealand is the only other country that makes wine from Pinotage.
Wow.
But yeah, really nice wine, full-bodied, robust, very earthy tones, and the more recent vintages of Pinotage are really showing the true character of the grape. Some improved winemaking techniques in South African winemaking have really shown the fruit to be fantastic and make some really nice red wines.
That's very, very interesting.
Carl, you also, I understand, went to University of Davis?
Yes.
Got a degree in wine?
Well, I decided my career in the corporate world, which really brought me out to the U.S. In the tech world in San Diego, and I kind of exited out of corporate life in 2005, and was doing some consulting here in Los Angeles area, Long Beach, and in Garden Grove, and kind of trying to figure out what I really loved doing, and wine is one of those subjects for me, having grown up in that environment. And I decided, well, I was going to go and do something serious about this thing. So I signed up with UC Davis, one of the best wine schools in the world, and actually did their 2-year winemakers program.
Excellent.
Which was
You're getting really good at that.
Yeah, which was a great way to get a good, solid technical and scientific background to the world of wine.
Okay.
And then from there, I've kind of branched out into wine appreciation, and that's really what I'm doing now.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Michael, we are coming up on a commercial break in about a minute, but if you have time, I'd love for you to kind of hang on. And
I'll hang out for a
yeah, hang on, and then continue in the conversation, because I'm really, really curious about obviously how chocolates kind of come into wines and that sort of a thing, and then if you guys even want to have a little bit of a discussion between what Michael's had, what he's encountered in France specifically,
Right.
and Michael, you might have some questions for him about South Africa, because that's one of the regions of the world that I actually wasn't really familiar with in terms of being like a big producer of wine, if you will. So
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
yeah, I think it's a fascinating topic. So you're listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network, 855-969-7268, 855-969-RANT. Make sure you stay tuned. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call. You're watching Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network.
Don't burn anything down. Firehouse Chefs will be right back.
3 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch.
Make your team look like pros with custom lineup cards. Whether you are a travel team, rec team, all-star team, or just some old guys playing slow pitch, we can make your team look a little better with some custom lineup cards. For the umpire, for the opponent, for the scorekeeper, for the dugout, no matter where your lineup card goes, you will look like a big league team with your team logo and name on top of your personalized lineup card. Just visit CustomLineupCards.com. With the best prices in town, you are sure to hit a home run with us. Visit CustomLineupCards.com and go pro.
Hey, bro, this is a good game. You know what would make it better?
What, bro?
A michelada.
A michelada? What's a michelada?
A michelada is somewhere in the middle of a Mexican Bloody Mary and a Mexican margarita.
Oh, I got you covered, bro.
You got a cup in your pocket?
No, sir. I got my pocket-sized michelada. Mucho macho michelada.
Pocket size?
Pocket size, so you can take it with you anywhere you go.
Where'd you get that at?
At the nearest convenience store, and you can also buy it at muchomachomichelada.com.
You know what would make it better? After we get drunk, if they had a line we could call.
We can call their drunk line. You can leave a message and then log on to the site and listen to your stupidity afterwards.
What's that number?
It's 855-MICHE-69.
What's that number again?
855-MICHE-69.
Awesome. Mucho macho michelada.
Are you watching the game at home? Why? Come watch it at Mambo Grill, the hottest spot in Downey. You'll have good food, drinks, and a great time at a low price. We have the coldest beer in our sports bar, where you can enjoy the game on any of our huge flat screen TVs. And when your home team wins, you get 25% off anything in Mambo Grill. We're on Downey Avenue, 1 block north of Firestone, or visit us on the web. Mambo Grill, love at first bite.
Nurses Life Express provides unique apparel for all the hardworking nurses that wear many hats. It is apparel that expresses nurses' amazing, humorous, and caring personalities. After all, nurses are as influential as their united goal to help others. Nursing's not easy, but somebody's got to do it. For more information, please call 562-270-4312 or visit their website at www.nurselife.com. www.nurselyfe.com. Nurseslife.com, where nurses' lives are expressed.
Welcome to Firehouse Chefs. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I will take you on a journey with America's chefs, firefighters, service industry professionals, and more as we discuss food, recipes, nutrition, and lifestyle topics. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Firehouse Chefs Radio. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chef Don. And again, you're listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio. Thank you. On the Rant Radio Network, and you can catch us every Wednesday. I wouldn't be doing that. That's a good thing. You can catch us every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on at rantradionetwork.com or firehousechefs.com. We are joined in studio by our guest, Carl Mostert, and wine aficionado. And I think we still have Chef Michael Poole on the line as well. Are you still there?
I am here, yes.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, Chef Poole, for hanging on. And we wanted to dive right back into our conversation about wine tonight, since that is our topic. And we actually wanted to have, just a conversation amongst all of us. And, Chef Michael, if you have anything that you wanted to kind of bring up. But I wanted to talk about basically your recent travels in France, and maybe kind of what are some of the up-and-coming wines in France, and specifically how that kind of ties to your chocolate making. And Chef Poole does have a company called Hot Chocolat, right?
Hot Chocolat, yes.
There you go.
And he'll, real quick too, before we forget, why don't you mention that you're going to be coming down here, and Firehouse Chefs is actually going to be sponsoring Chef Michael Poole as he is in a contest, sort of, right?
Yeah, what I'm coming down for is for the chocolate salon, and it's going to be October 6th in Pasadena.
Okay, October 6th in Pasadena.
Yeah, in Pasadena. And they have several different shows: San Francisco, Seattle, L.A., Vegas, different places. And I've only done San Francisco and Seattle shows, so this will be my first time in L.A. showing my chocolates. So basically, you come by, you can get samples, taste the chocolate, you can purchase chocolates if you like, and they have judges that are just among the crowd, and they come and they sample chocolates and they judge them, and they have probably about 20 different categories, and they have the winner gets gold, silver, bronze, etc. So so I'm excited to come down to LA for that, and hope to come home with a gold.
Yeah, no inside jobs like that time we cooked in West Hollywood, right?
that's right. Nothing like
that. No inside jobs. So, okay, well, yeah, we can't wait to see you here October 6th, and obviously, we'll make sure that you're actually live in studio right around that time as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that'd be great. So let's get Carl involved with the conversation then. Michael, what are you thinking right now as far as French wines and that sort of a thing, or do you have any questions for Carl?
Well, I'm not a huge wine connoisseur. I do like to have wine with my dinner, and but the thing is, here lately is a lot of people want me to pair up some chocolates with wine. So I have a place here in Seattle, Wine World, where they buy my chocolate. So I just call the sommelier there, and he just hooks me up with a nice wine to pair up with the chocolate.
Yeah. Michael, just tell me a little bit about the chocolate that you're making. Is this using dark chocolates or?
Well, I have a variety of chocolates. A lot of it is dark chocolate. So I have basically traditional chocolates with fillings, the ganaches and caramels and that sort of thing.
Right.
Probably the most popular is I have a line of spicy chocolates, and those are the caramel. And they're about the 3 alarm, but those are probably the most popular. And it'd be nice to have a wine to pair up with those chocolates. I do a habanero caramel, a cayenne caramel, and then I do a firehouse chili, which would be a white ganache with a nice chili mix in there that gives it a nice flavor at the end.
Okay, great. Yeah, chocolate is one of those things that people traditionally think, well, you kind of had red wine, dark chocolate, and that's a great pairing. It's not really the best pairing you can do out there. What you need to do with chocolate is try and pair it, carefully based on the flavors that you're actually pulling out, and whether it's got a caramel or a spicy kick or something like that. You can actually pair it often with a white wine or a bubbled wine. Some sparkling wine, and when I talk champagne, I'm really talking about champagne from Champagne region in France.
Okay, right.
But there's some great sparkling wines that are made in California and in Oregon, in my view. I haven't tasted any sparkling wines from Washington State, but the 2 states south of you make some really good stuff.
They do.
And if you pair that with a chocolate that's got a really sweet finish to it, that'll be a great pairing.
I do have one chocolate that has another sweet. It's honey infused lavender, dark chocolate ganache, and that's another one.
So
that'd be nice to pair.
So there'd be a couple of rules that you want to try and follow there. Use some bubbles with the drier finishes, so something like a Brut or something like that in a sparkling wine. Go for a high acid Riesling, and again, you guys up in Washington State and Oregon make some really good natural Rieslings, great to pair chocolates with. And then if you're going to go to a red wine, go for something with a really fruit-forward style. So you want to do that with a chocolate pairing. That'll work much better than a tannic red. If you go for a red that's got high tannins, you're going to start fighting with the flavors that you'll get out of the chocolate, and the pairing will not be that good.
Carl, is that going to be a Cab or a Zen? What are you in fruit forward? What are we?
Well, I think probably the best examples in California would be the big Zins that they make, or some of the high-powered Californian cabs. Merlot probably doesn't have quite enough structure on it, in my view. Pairings and wine tastings are, of course, all very personal things. Everybody's palate is different. But you want to try kind of use those rules of thumb to put you in the right area and then find something that really suits your own taste and palate.
So in other words, Michael, you're going to be eating a lot of chocolate and drinking a lot of wine.
Well, got to figure it out somehow, right?
Yeah, and since we're on this topic right now, and before Michael gets off the phone, Carl, why don't you tell us about some of the regions around the world right now that are producing some really, really good, interesting wines?
Well, it's been a really interesting period, particularly over the last 5 years in the whole wine market. With the slumping of the world economies, there's been some all the corresponding issues in the wine world as well. Very, very competitive markets. You'll have read recently about treasury wines and some very big wine companies destroying hundreds of thousands of liters of wine, white wines mainly, that have got too old on the shelf. These wines are made to drink within 1 or 2 years. They have not been able to sell them, mostly from Australia.
Wow.
And they've had to destroy them. And this is also kind of clearing out the shelves, if you like, of some old stocks to try and make sure that you sell the stuff today. So the traditional areas are really California, obviously. I think we all know that.
Right.
Biggest producer in the U.S. Right behind that is Washington State. So, Michael, up in your area, you guys are making some fantastic reds. And in my personal view, again, I believe the best red values in the U.S. come out of Washington State.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Good to know.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Take that,
Yeah.
Michael. Yeah, that's great.
So,
my.
there you go.
He's getting really good at that.
One of the hottest.
Show me some respect, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. One of the
Start the
hottest
respect
areas
now.
in the wine world in the U.S. is Oregon. And the reason for that, you'll see, is a lot of money flowing into all of the areas in Oregon. And that, I think, is a lot of the big companies hedging their bets on the global warming issue.
Okay.
Where the forecast for the future of Oregon as to what's going to happen there from a weather perspective is extremely favorable. So
really, that's really interesting.
Look out the rest of the U.S. I think Oregon's going to become a really high-profile wine producer. Top quality stuff.
Okay, what about your home country, South Africa, and what about a neighbor of ours, Chilean and Argentinian? What's going on there, Carl?
Well, South Africa is, I'm very proud to say, doing a much better job now than it used to. Wine in South Africa has been there for 300 years, in fact more than 300 years. 1659 the first wines were made in South Africa, so it's one of the crazy environments that, is this old world or is it new world? But clearly it's in the new world from a cultural perspective, but it does old world winemaking. And they did that for a long time. But during the apartheid years in South Africa, the country was very isolated. Went through doldrums, and quite honestly, the quality of the wine that was coming out of South Africa was spotty, to say the best. You had a couple of really good things, but the majority was very average. And now, since the change of dispensation, the opening up of the wine industry, it has become a lot more competitive. New vineyards, new stocks, and plant material has actually come into the country. And the quality of the wine has absolutely rocketed. Great bargains in South African wines. Coming into the U.S., look out for some really good value, both white and red, from South Africa. As far as Chile and Argentina goes, Argentina's obviously made their name on Malbec. Very, very popular wine here. Chile, I believe, make fantastic wines. Their top qualities are actually going into Europe, not so much into the U.S. market. They haven't managed to crack that high price bracket here.
Master Carl, let's pick that up when we come back from the commercial break. And Chef Poole, before we get to the commercial break, real quick, tell everybody how they can find you on social media or your website.
Social media, I have a Facebook page called Hot Chocolate. Hot Chocolate, Artisan Firehouse Chocolates by Chef Michael D. Poole. And then my website is Hot Chocolat, that's a French spelling without the E, .net. Hot Chocolat.
Hot Chocolat, French spelling without the E, .net, right?
It is, yeah.
All right. And you can also find him on firehouchefs.com. Click on the chef's page. Thank you so much, Chef Poole, for calling in tonight. We will see you soon, October 6th in Pasadena. You're listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network.
Don't burn anything down. Firehouse Chefs will be right back.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today. Or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
The Share Foundation is the health division of the Koi Chiropractic Institute, a 501c3 509A2 public nonprofit organization dedicated to the growth and development of the natural health care services, in particular through the chiropractic profession, offering health services at the Share Clinics in the greater Los Angeles area. Your donations can help in expanding these facilities across the nation, research programs, and public education, thus offering a solution to the many of the health challenges we face. Your donations are tax-deductible and can be sent through our website at www.sharefoundation.com. That's www.cherfoundation.com by clicking on the donation button. Thank you.
Number one. Number one.
Is that a stutter or as high as you can count?
I was ordering number one tequila.
Everybody's asking for number one.
Great, another fancy bottle.
These guys are true artists. Never compromise integrity. They make tequila
Come
the
on.
old-fashioned way. Never mass-produced.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying have the number one. Anything less is number two. Number one! Number one, tequila.
Oh, man! TheTicketSurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. TheTicketSurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199.
Welcome to Firehouse Chefs. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I will take you on a journey with America's chefs, firefighters, service industry professionals, and more as we discuss food, recipes, nutrition, and lifestyle topics. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to Firehouse Chefs Radio. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chef Don. Thanks for tuning in to episode 11 of FHC Radio. You can tune in and watch us and listen to us every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Rant Radio Network. Also, make sure that you find us on YouTube. You can find archived episodes under Firehouse Chefs Radio, Rant Radio Network. We are joined in studio by our guest, Carl, wine aficionado, and it's been a really, really good topic tonight. It's been a lot of fun actually just talking about wine. And Chef Michael Poole was just on the phone for a segment and a half, and it was cool having him on there. And you guys were able to talk about even what was in his own backyard there in Washington State. And obviously you brought up the fact that red wines are just really, really great up there right now. And that, I found that to be very, very interesting. So obviously we're here in California where during the 70s there was a blind wine tasting. They actually made a movie about this.
1976.
1976, and California wines actually beat out French wines, and historically French wines were always known to be the greatest wines in the world, and French people are obviously known to be a little bit on the snobby side, dare I say. Sound effect. Oh, we're looking at pictures right now. By the way, this is Carl right here. And if you want to talk about anything that we're actually looking at right now, picture-wise, you can go ahead and explain, Carl.
Yeah, that's just me in my working clothes. We were up in Paso doing some winemaking.
Okay.
So right at that picture right there was doing some punch downs. These were red wine fermentations that we were working on, and doing some manual punch downs as opposed to pump overs. And yeah, a lot of fun doing that stuff.
Okay, cool. And I know here in California, the wine harvest is actually it's upon us.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually a little bit early this year.
It is.
Yeah, and I know up in Northern California, up in Napa, they're really, really happy about this year. So
yeah, the quality this year has been really good. The weather's been kind. They've been a little warmer and a couple more degree days, which is one of the measurements they use to measure the amount of sunshine and open days, if you like, sunshine days with no overcast weather that obviously help ripen the grapes. So there's been a couple more this year, and therefore the harvest is a little earlier. And right now is a super busy time in any winery, that's for sure. So the white grapes already been picked as we speak.
Okay.
And in the next couple of weeks, you'll see the red harvest start coming in.
Sounds
Carl,
like we need to go wine tasting.
For somebody who's been studying wines, gone to school for over 25 years, everything that you've seen and tasted, are you more a traditional guy that I know Zin's not a favorite of yours, but a Cab or a Merlot, a Chardonnay, or with the new blend, where's your palate kind of land? What do you like?
That's a really good question, and I'm going to answer it in a little offhanded way if I can.
I was hoping so.
It's really important for people to understand who enjoy wine. There's no right or wrong way. It's what you feel like. It's the way you taste the wine. And a hugely important thing about appreciating wine is the setting that you do it in. What food you have, who you have with you. Is it your honey on your arm? Are you having a good time? Have you had a really heavy day and you're trying to unwind? That'll make your wine taste different. So in my case, I'm a little all over the map.
I would love to taste you.
That's
terribly sexy.
Oh, there you go.
Did you say, was that yours or was that Arvin's? I would love to taste you? Wow.
Arvin's doing that.
No, he's not. Look at his head's ducked down right now.
Our producer's in there doing it.
You guys are like, somebody's been sneaking some wine in or something.
That's terribly sexy.
I just love that comment that you just said, that it actually like changes just based on how you're feeling, literally.
Exactly.
You know? And since this is like Firehouse Chefs Radio, that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up to you. And doing what you do as a professional, what are some of the things that you really like pairing wines with? Obviously, we know about, cheese platters, if you will.
Right.
But besides that, what are some of the things that you really think are good foods to pair wines with?
Well, I'm a great lover of fish.
Okay.
And red meat. The rest of the things, as far as I'm concerned, everything else is a vegetable, including chicken. So, red meat, particularly grilled or slow roasted, to me, you can do a lot with that stuff. And I like the rich and complexity of the foodstuffs that you can find great pairings with. There you go. When I'm eating, and some more. When I'm doing that stuff, back to Don's question, I tend to be a traditionalist. I like wines that have got good structure. So if you want to look at wines to really pair well with roasted red meats or slow-cooked red meats, go to Italy, go to France, and look at some of the traditional Bordeaux's.
Reds, your reds then?
Reds,
okay.
Yes. And some of the traditional Italian-style wines. They're made to go with those food. That is not necessarily the wine that you're going to serve first and just sit, outside next to the fire and enjoy. But when you're eating your food,
right,
that's the one you want to pair with.
Okay. And then traditionally we've always been told about basically your proteins, your red meats, red wine,
yes,
and then your fish, seafood, white wine. I mean, do you basically find that to be fairly true?
Oh, I don't buy into that at all.
Okay.
My personal view is very different. And to be perfectly honest, I have been influenced by a master of wine by the name of Tim Hanai, who's well known in this area of food and wine pairing, and in fact has built up a new series of science, which has been going, to my knowledge, at least for the last 9 years, together with a biologist professor from University of Cornell. Where they've actually done a whole bunch of research on exactly how the taste of the human body works.
Wow.
So it really does depend on the individual, what kind of taster you are, and they have sensitivity levels. But really when it comes to my own style of pairing red meat with red wine or white with white, not at all. I go for what
you want to drink ultimately.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way it's cooked, and then the sauce that is served.
Okay.
Most people make a mistake when they're trying to pair by saying, oh, fish, and because I'm doing a very delicate type fish, I need a light, delicate wine.
Right.
Well, as soon as you put a cream sauce on the fish...
You just killed it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no way that a light, delicate wine is going to go with that.
Right.
So you really have to watch the pairing and the condiments that you put. on your protein. And the same with red wine, red meat. Exactly the same. The kind of sauce, spices that you're going to serve with your red wine mostly will determine which red wine pairing you're going to go with.
How about if you're just doing like an appetizer court or like an amuse-bouche or something very small? You know, what would you recommend folks out there, maybe try?
Well, I think there's a huge opportunity missed, if you like, with people who do wine pairing. Try some rosés. They go with little small bites, could be anything from a light, salad style bite or something like that, to fish, to meat. Great pairing with rosés. And the second one is back to the bubbles. Do some sparkling wine.
Okay.
You can pretty much not miss with that. And in fact, I'll throw you a challenge.
Okay.
Everybody here loves fries, right? Take some fries, really well done, duck fat, and try that with champagne and tell me that's not a good pairing.
Sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Especially our garlic tots, probably.
Yeah.
Our garlic tots on the Firehouse Chef's food truck sounds fantastic.
Hey, Carl.
Real quick, also, sorry,
Chef.
Chef. We have some paraphernalia, if you will, on the table here, and I just wanted to briefly cover it because we are coming close to the end of Firehouse Chef's radio. So, tell us about some of these things in terms of drinking wine. Obviously, you can drink it right out of a coffee mug. It doesn't really matter, but tell us about the glasses.
Well, I think glass does make a difference to the flavor of the wine. And I actually was a student of Max Riedel, who demonstrates this very ably when he's showing his Riedel wine glasses. But basically, what you want to do is, it's pretty important to try and get a wine glass that's got a tulip shape. These are called tulip-shaped glasses, and that's really so that you can close up around the top of the wine, and when you swirl the wine in the glass, that you're able to capture some of the aromas that you can inhale. Just remember that when you're tasting wine, 90% of it is actually nasal, and only 10% is physically on the tongue. You've only got 5 senses on the tongue, including umami. And the rest of all of the flavors and bouquets and all that kind of stuff that you're getting is retronasal.
Wow.
So capturing that bouquet is really important when you're trying to do wines.
Okay, that's a great point.
All right.
Which one would you like? This one? Okay.
So when you're doing a delicate red wine, this is the shape, and you can see that this is very different to the traditional shape of a Bordeaux. So a Bordeaux would typically be drunk here, and a Burgundy out of the bigger bowl glass. And the reason for that is just Burgundies are primarily Pinot Noir, very delicate wine that you want to be able to capture all the aroma. So you're typically going to go for a narrower top, the bigger bowl, Burgundy versus Bordeaux.
Okay, that's a great point.
Pretty much you want to go for the glass again. You feel comfortable with the size, you feel comfortable, but those are just kind of basic rules of thumb.
And then we have one more.
Yeah.
This is your traditional champagne.
Yeah. This is what we call a champagne flute, and again, can be used for any sparkling wine. Big thing about champagne flutes, when you pour the champagne in here, pour it in slowly so that you don't lose all of the bubbles out the top. And definitely don't swirl your glass because you're just shaking all the stars out of your wine. So leave it alone.
So do not shake.
Do not
with
stir.
Sparkling.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Take a sniff of it. Keep your aroma again, and sip it out of the glass.
Okay. And then we have.
Right. Then we've got
the decanter.
The decanter. Yep.
A decanter here. And can be used with a funnel, or if you've got a steady hand, you can probably do the bottle directly into the decanter.
Okay.
And this is pretty much used for either very young wines or very old wines.
Okay.
But basic rule of thumb again, if you've got a young wine that you want to drink, particularly a red, and you need a little bit of air to it, so a good example would be a young Bordeaux that can age for 20 years, but now you're drinking it after 2. It needs air for sure. You want to get rid of some of those harsh tannins. Want the wine to air out a little bit. You would put it in here and have a bigger surface to air ratio between the wine and the air, so that it can oxidize a little bit and smooth that taste out. And then for old wines, the reverse is true. You want to be able to pour it in very slowly and be able to separate the sediment that may be in the bottle or any of the tannins that have actually dropped out of the wine from the wine that is drinkable. And you would put that back in here as well. Be careful when you do that with old wines, because if they are really old and you increase the surface to air ratio, the wine will oxidize really quickly. So.
And we are, our engineer Arvin's letting us run a little bit over right now because this is such a cool topic. But we do. I have a couple rapid fire questions, and we're going to just go ahead and wrap up this episode of Firehouse Chefs Radio. When was the first documented wine, if you will, in the world? When did that originate?
I can answer that. That was Jesus.
Oh, no, a little time before him, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm afraid not, my friend.
So, no, there's archaeological evidence that came out, in fact, earlier this year, 8,000 BC.
8,000 BC.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
On the Black Sea coast.
And people were getting hammered on wine.
There you go.
I love it. Okay, cool. All right, second rapid-fire question. Once you open wine, how long do you have before it's no good?
Depends on the wine, but let's take a regular, 20-bottle drinking red wine, something like that. You can pretty much, if you drink half the wine, recork it, and when I say recork it, just close it up and put it back into the fridge. It's pretty much good for a 2-day period. If you use some wine saver or where you can suck the air off the wine, maybe you can get 3 days. But after that, you'll definitely start tasting a big difference in the wine.
Okay, how about chilling red wine? Are you a proponent of that, or?
Well, yeah, you chill red wine from certainly Southern Californian temperatures. You put it in the fridge for 20 minutes.
So I've heard the 20-minute rule. 20-minute, take a white wine out, and
That's
then 20 minutes, put a red wine in.
For the average wine that we drink today, very good rule.
Cool. Okay, excellent. And then how can folks out there listening tonight find out about what you do if they ever want to find out more about your services?
Well, and tell us, Carl, about where you're going.
Yeah, thank you. I am in the wine industry. I help some of my friends who do wine courses, and I teach as a guest speaker for them. But I do specialist wine tours, both to Europe and to South Africa. So, in fact, I leave literally tomorrow night, taking a group of American wine enthusiasts down to Cape Town on a wildlife and wine tour.
That's awesome.
For 2 weeks.
That is awesome.
And you can get me at vintales.com.
Vintales.com?
VINTales.com. That's
okay.
it. Yep.
Thank you so much tonight for all of your expertise and your time here on Firehouse Chefs Radio. We've had a fantastic time. Thank you to the gentleman in the booth for letting us go over. And we just had another fascinating show. We appreciate everybody listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio. Tune in every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and make sure you follow Firehouse Chefs on all of our social media. Chef Don?
I'm just going to leave us with one quote. One barrel of wine can work more miracles than a church full of saints.
We will close with that, and thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate the continued support.
Thanks
Carl. Again, Carl. Great show.
You're welcome.
Great show.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Boys in the booth, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Look for the food truck.
Look for the food truck. FirehouseChefs.com. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to FHC Radio. Catch us every Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific Time by visiting firehousechefs.com and rantradionetwork.com.